Reach out to would love to peanut. That's why you're number one.
Greetings, Gunslinger Posse, and welcome to Branded for December 4th, 2024, brought to you by South Texas Spine and Surgical Hospital. That guy there, that is Tom Menas, the head coach and general manager of the San Antonio Gunslingers. I'm Ralph Judkins, your host of a show all about the San Antonio Gunslingers, the Indoor Football League. We ask you to like and subscribe and do all those social media things. And while you're at it, sound off and give us a comment question for Coach. Any questions, comments, Coach, before we get started? Got a really big show tonight.
Really big show. Yeah, Mr. Ed Sullivan over there. It's going to be fun. We promised we were going to have some fans on, and we're going to be having some fans on. We're also going to be having on my son, Phil, who handles scouting for us. So it's going to be a good show.
All right, we'll be back and get started in just a moment. You're watching Branded, brought to you by South Texas Spine and Surgical Hospital. We'll be back with the first quarter in just a moment.
It's the high school football season, the most exciting time of the year.
That's right, Greg, and John Wayne Service Company is in on the action with Texas Sports Productions.
Watch and listen to the hundreds of games this season on the all-new TSP app and vote for the John Wayne Player of the Game during the games and the John Wayne Player of the Week beginning on Sundays during the season.
Go to johnwayne.com to vote and be automatically entered to win a $10,000 home makeover.
Get in the game today with TSP
and John Wayne Service Company.
All right, team, huddle up. Just like in surgery, we need precision and teamwork. Trust me, just like on the field, if we stick to the playbook, we'll achieve excellence.
Coach, are you sure about this?
We've trained for this. We're experts. The San Antonio Gunslingers and South Texas Spine and Surgical Hospital and Outpatient Center, where precision meets performance.
Dependability. It's expected by our customers, and it's demanded by me. I personally guarantee the certified techs we send to your home and the equipment we install are dependable. John Wayne's American Pride comfort systems are designed specifically for San Antonio's extreme heat and humidity and come with a lifetime warranty. For comfort you can depend on, call John Wayne today.
John Wayne Service Company is a proud sponsor of the San Antonio Gunslingers.
It's literally like hockey and football had a baby.
Type of action you'll never see in the NFL.
Let's go, Gunslingers! Let's go, baby! Woo! That's the best entertainment there is. Once you've been to a game, you're going to get hooked.
And welcome back to Branded with head coach Tom Menas. We get set to get started here. Wow, Coach, we weren't on the air last week because of Thanksgiving, but before that, that was a heck of a tryout, a heck of a Saturday. Amazingly, over 1,500 views on Facebook. Can't believe that people stuck around for that, but people were coming in and out the whole time, 4 hours.
Yeah, I got a little flack for saying that originally that we were going to do a 4-hour show, and I had people internally say, who's going to watch that? And and I said, well, we always preach that we want to give an NFL experience to our players and even our potential players. So how cool is it that when we do a tryout for that entire period, we have a show going on, people got to meet some of the people they wouldn't normally get to meet. and then to be able to see the signings that took place live with those young men too. So it's a pretty cool thing.
And that was really, really exciting for me. I didn't know if I could fill 4 hours, and it turned out that I actually had more guests than I really needed.
Yeah, and you missed a couple.
Yeah, there were a few more. So I guess it's time to talk about updates, follow on and follow through. For those that might have missed the show or missed the ending, what was the upshot of all of the tryouts, and what else has been going on in Gunslinger Nation?
Well, there's a few things. First of all, I want to once again thank Texas South Spine and Surgical Hospital for sponsoring the event. Angie and her group did a great job, along with Jennifer, our corporate sponsorship director, and the volunteers that we had that day. A special shout out to my friends over at All Sports Speed Training. Coach Bebe, we appreciate you and your crew. He brought out like 7 guys, which made it great because then the coaches could watch the drills rather than be sitting there, writing down things. We got a chance to observe things, which was kind of fun. Overall, though, the experience that we gave everybody, I think, was pretty special. We started on time. We went pretty much, I think we went from 9 until 12. Lots of people there, lots of tryouts. And we gave every one of them equal reps and opportunity to, if they had multiple positions. So,
what was the final number? Was it I saw a jersey out there with 110.
Yeah, I don't think we had that many that showed up, but we had more than most camps do, obviously. And the nice thing about it was fans came. We had a bunch of fans there, which was really nice. We had our sponsors, our vendors were there, giving the fans food and drinks and all that. And then on top of that, after the tryout, whether they got a contract or didn't get a contract, they got a great meal provided by Outback. Did a really good recovery meal of grilled chicken and vegetables and all the accoutrements to go with that. And so, nobody can walk away and say, well, I didn't get my money's worth, or I didn't get the opportunity, or I didn't get the experience, because they did, and that was a big part of it.
Yeah, Matangas was there with just pizza rolls for the fans. And did your Poteet Strawberry Festival jam jar survive?
Yeah. I didn't bring them home. I left them at the ranch in Texas.
Okay, so they're waiting for you. Well, I'll tell you, they're
I just had too many nightmares of thinking all my quarter zips in that suitcase and one of those jams busting out. Yeah.
Yes, that would be bad.
No, it was that part of it. When you're a host of a party, you want to make sure your guests have a good time, right? And you want to make sure that there's no hiccups and there's no, nothing. And it worked out perfect. And, Marshall took care of it, made sure all the parking was great and people were flowing in and out. And again, everybody, Laureate Complete Care, Outback, Matangas, I mean, everybody, they really, they stepped up. And I know I'm missing some people. I apologize, but it was just a great event. It was a really good event. So out of the event, we ended up seeing 4 athletes that we really liked a lot. I'll be quite honest with you. I'm a little amazed that they were at a tryout and that they weren't already signed with somebody. We signed Malik Claiborne, we signed Jaden Jackson, and we signed Bailey Edwards. Bailey's an interesting story. His dad, Stan, played in the NFL for a number of years. He's a friend of mine, and we all know his brother, very successful running back at the University of Michigan. And, Bailey's always been the third guy, right? older brother played in the NFL, dad played in the NFL, and here comes Bailey coming out now, and he's looking for his opportunity. He started at Central Michigan, finished at Albion, big kid, good wide receiver. All three of these guys are just really good athletes, and it's going to be an interesting camp. The fourth guy we looked at was a kicker that we kind of liked. He's got great potential, kicks the ball a mile, pretty accurate. When he was warming up, he was kicking from the opposite 10, and he was making field goals, just like he goes, yeah, I'm just warming up. And I thought, yeah, okay. And then when we did kickoffs, he was probably 40 yards over the goalpost. So, I mean, it was crazy. But we're not done yet with him. We're still working out some things, seeing if it's a good fit for both of us.
Now you were talking about the first guy we signed, and the word that came to mind when you're talking about him is pedigree. How important is, or what is the significance of a player's pedigree? Like you said, father.
See, my thing is, I got in trouble for this in New York. I was trying to explain it to a kid, and I thought the kid wasn't a very good football player. And I thought the guy that I wanted to bring in was a good football player. And the guy who I wanted to bring in had a very famous last name. Okay. And his dad had won the Heisman and all the things that go with it. So I had this young kid in my office, and I was trying to explain to him about pedigree. I said, pedigree only gets you so far, right? But when you grow up in a household where there's that environment, a lot of effort and interest is given around it too. My son, Phil, he's grown up. We're going to meet him shortly, but he grew up in locker rooms, right? He started out as a ball boy for me with the Detroit Fury, in the AFL. And him and his brother had always been in locker rooms, Toronto, then moving and doing this and doing that. And they've always been around it. So from a coaching standpoint, he has a pedigree because of his, I guess, level of involvement. He had doors open to him that maybe others wouldn't have had. A lot of these younger players, as I was explaining to this player in New York, I said, just because he's got that last name, does it help? Yeah, it doesn't hurt. What did your dad do? And the kid goes, well, my dad was a preacher. I said, that's fantastic. And I said, but it's obvious that you don't have the same skill set that this guy has. And he said, oh, because I don't have the right last name. And he got all in his feelings. And I said, no, because you're shitty. And the other guy's way better. And when you do that, sometimes you try to be nice and you try to be polite and you try to say, well, this is what you need to work on. This is the things you have to work on and mold yourself with and do all that. And they still don't hear it. And then it finally comes down to you're just not good enough. And
don't ask a question you don't really want to know the answer to.
Boy, you're talking to the king of that, right? So I empathize with that, but I also, at the end of the day, it's something that's that ultimately falls on me. It's funny, Ralph. Today I was on LinkedIn and I had gotten a message from one of the agents that I'm working with overseas. And that's how we communicate a lot, is through LinkedIn. And I got this little alert that says, hey, you've been selected to answer you're one of the select few that can answer this question on LinkedIn. And, and I thought, oh, great. As a coach, how do you handle when you go into your room if you have two opposing sides of an opinion, and how do you resolve the issues and keep the room friendly and all that? And I looked who had answered it already, and it was engineers, CFOs, plant managers, doctors, finance guys. And so I'm reading their answers, and I felt very woke, we'll just say, okay, after reading it. So then I replied, I get one opinion, I get the second opinion, I gather all the information, I make the ultimate decision. If they want to be pissed off at anybody, be pissed off at me. Well, you'd have thought I threw a hand grenade in that chat, right? But I think that's what separates our business from other businesses. Football has to be that blunt at times because we don't have the luxury of being able to, form a committee to make a decision and, a subcommittee to review the decision made by the committee. And, we don't have that luxury. We're on a win basis. Plus, that engineer doesn't have, a few 100,000 people watching him do his job every day, right? And we do. We'll get a few 100,000 on a weekly basis tell us how dumb we are, so it just kind of works out that way.
It's kind of funny. You exactly described how a commander in the field, in the military, in the Army in particular, makes a decision. You sit there, you listen, and you have to go with what you believe to be right. And at the end of the day, yeah, you can be upset at the commander, but the commander is ultimately responsible for the success or failure of the mission. This is a head football coach. This is exactly what you are doing.
Right. Well, you would think I have that skill set and that's why they hired me. Right. The interesting part about that is, and I've had this discussion with a lot of young coaches, and I always say to the coaches on the very first day, love your coaches like your players. And at first they're taken back by it. And even some players are kind of offended by it. And they say, well, why don't you love me? Kind of thing. And I said, well, love is a respect thing. And by the time you guys come to camp, I may have seen you an hour, 2 hours in the off season via Zoom call or whatever. But I'm talking to my coaches every single day, and we built a trust and loyalty and all the things that go with that. And we have a mutual respect and love for each other, and we have to. Now, if you want that, give your players that kind of same treatment where you see coaches saying to their players all the time how much they love them, and I'm one of them. It's after the fact. It's after it's been earned on both sides, right? So when we get to camp, I don't want anybody mad at anybody but me, right? So I don't have Coach Fuller cut an offensive guy. I cut the offensive guy. I don't have, someone else cut a defensive guy. I cut the defensive guy. If there's a disciplinary issue that's 30,000 feet, I handle it, right? So I would rather them love each other and like us, and us love each other and like them, because then when the time comes for those hard conversations, if you haven't built that relationship yet, it's a little easier. And then on the other side, once those relationships are built, sometimes you still got to do them. And that's really hard. But I would rather them respect pure honesty. I'm going to be direct. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to tell you why. You can't play this position because you're too big. You're too slow. You're too big. You can't play this position because you're not fast enough. You can't play this because you're not accurate enough. You can't play this position because you're not consistent on your tackling. And so, first, shame on me for recruiting them. And then two is, it's got to fall on them for performance as well. So, but we were talking about that today with camp coming up. Camp's March 6th. For those of you who don't know, we'll get into that a little bit later in the 4th, but yeah, it's right around the corner. It's getting here.
It's coming faster than you realize. So what you've described, Coach, is the ultimate in accountability. And we already have a question. I had asked you this outside of the show, and Dave Williams has a follow-on question, because we had at the end of the year and have re-signed what I believe was the best receiving core in the IFL. And we have been signing additional wide receivers ever since. Dave Williams asks, it seems you have several wide receivers. How many wide receivers do you anticipate actually keeping?
Probably close to 7, I would say, on an active roster. 7 to 8 at most, but probably 7-ish. Dave, here's the thing. Okay, so when you see the roster, you see just names and numbers and positions, right? And I see history, and I see injuries, and I see guys not showing up for camp, and I see baby mama drama, and I see financial problems at home. I see all kinds of things that can deflate a roster prior to camp, right? And so what I do is I try to bring in an abundance at each position. Hell, I'm bringing in 4 running backs, right? Maybe 5 as of tomorrow. And cream will rise to the top. They got a week to show me, right? But a sprained ankle, a high ankle sprain will put you out for 4 to 6 weeks, right? Guy yanks a hamstring, he's out at least a month, right? If not a little less than that. You get anything with your shoulders as a lineman, it can be anything from 2 weeks to a season. And then let's not talk about the nasty stuff like knees and all that. Well, that's part of football. That is a huge part of football. And the biggest thing is that if you don't have a roster that's built for competition and for depth, you're going to get crushed. And that's why I told everybody last year when everyone gave me crap for bringing in veterans. And I said, don't worry, it'll be down to veteran time, no problem, right? And so this year, we're looking at a lot of younger players, but 1 or 2 year experienced guys. And then we're looking at some that just never have played indoor football too, because you have to cultivate your field if you want to crop, right? So, I mean, eventually, after the first game, nobody's a rookie anymore. Everyone's a veteran. So you got to have those players too. I think we talked about how you set up a team and how you do it. And I've always been blessed with great players, great coaches, and that doesn't happen by accident. It comes by work. We hired a new coach. We can talk about him real quick. So for those of you that follow indoor football, you all know Jonathan Bain. Jonathan had moved back from Odessa area to San Antonio to put in some roots. And, I told him, I made him a promise in New York when we parted ways there. And I said, if you ever decide you want to be a coach, I'd love to have you on my staff and teach you the right way to do things and give you that opportunity. And so he called me up a couple months ago and we were able to put some things together. And a matter of fact, the cool part about it is, and we'll be announcing that probably, I'll just announce it, I'll get in trouble later, is that Jonathan in the off season, because he's local, in addition to doing the football stuff with me, he is also going to be working in and out of our front office in ticket sales. And he's going to oversee season tickets and all preseason tickets and things like that. So for those of you that want to talk to a potential future Hall of Fame quarterback from the indoor game, he's going to be the guy talking to you on the phone, selling you your tickets. So yeah, it's cultivating not only players, but coaches for the future as well. So you have to do that.
All right. Anything else before we wrap up the first quarter here and bring on the fans?
Real quick, we did sign one more that wasn't on at the tryout. I'm going to butcher his name, Trey. I'm so sorry. His name is Trey Fabriocchini. Rocani. I'm going to get it down. I don't know. I'm sorry, Trey. He's a running back. And here's what he looks just like Mike Elstad. So he's not your typical indoor football running back. He's 5'10", 225 pounds, and he is a beast. And he's actually our fourth running back that we've signed. So anxious to everybody to get a chance to meet him. Great young man. Excited to be here. Hopefully he'll do real well with us. And lastly, we were talking about recruiting and things like that for Dave. Dave, I'm doing my Pacific Rim tour. So in Australia, Samoa, New Zealand, and I'm doing my recruiting there right now. And you're smiling. That's true. And believe me, it's no joke with like a 14 to 16 hour time difference. I haven't gotten a lot of sleep in the last week. But there's some great players over there. And just look at the NFL rosters with some of the Samoan kids and some of the rugby players. And so we're going to be having some pretty fun announcements in the next couple of weeks there too. So.
And I'm the one that gets to learn how to pronounce their names, Coach. So
yeah, I call him number 25 or 21. If he's good enough to learn to spell his last name. Yeah, no, he's a great kid. All these four guys that we just added to the roster, any one of you guys at home, if you're a coach, you'd be glad to have them on your team. And if you're a parent, you'd be glad to have them dating your daughter. They're good men.
All right, that will do it for our first quarter. We'll be back with more of Branded, brought to you by South Texas Spine and Surgical Hospital in just a moment.
Reputation, it defines us. How we treat the customer contributes to our reputation. It's doing the right thing every time and never cutting corners. John Wayne's customers have rewarded us with over 15,000 five-star reviews and an A+ rating with the BBB. And for that, we thank you. John Wayne Service Company, our reputation is in every truck.
John Wayne Service Company is a proud sponsor of the San Antonio Gunslingers.
It's so easy to love Pick and Pull. Why? How about the largest inventory in South Texas? How about the ease of finding your part with our interchange and real-time inventory search at pickandpullsa.com? How about an organized yard and maps to find your parts, plus a shuttle? At Pick and Pull, we make it easy to save money on the quality used auto parts you need at a price you can afford.
More to pick, less pull from your budget. Now that's Pick and Pull.
For generations, the family recipes at Carrabba's Italian Grill have been bringing people together. From the sweet smell of our scratch-made sauce to our rich layers of lasagna, we believe food made with love leads to tables filled with laughter. Dine with us or order out at Carrabba's.com.
And welcome back to probably the single most successful coaches show in the last 2 years as we start our second year. I mean, why not? I'll just go ahead and say it. Number one coaches show in all of indoor football, and we've got the numbers to back it up as we head to our 51st episode on our way to 100. It's Branded. And here we are in the second quarter as we bring to the stage one of our first fans who joined us and knew about us way back when we were doing our second or third show. This character popped up. This is Mark Yamaguchi from Houston. Mark, good evening, and thank you for joining us on Branded.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on. It's great to see you guys.
You too, Mark. Good seeing you. We were worried about you. We hadn't heard from you in the last couple of weeks, and we're going, what happened to Mark?
Oh, man, busy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's and I'm sorry. I wish I could have seen the shows, but where I was at, I couldn't get access. So sorry.
Were you fishing?
Well, close to it, absolutely.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, Mark, go ahead and tell us what you do.
Well, I run in small boats, about 65 footer, 70, 70, 80, whatever size, 45. I'm an offshore fishing captain, and I was doing it as a charter for some individuals, but I came to the conclusion that, hey, look, I'd rather do this privately and do it with people who want to go fishing and know how to do it. And so I got on the tournament circuit, the Marlin tournament circuits. Been doing that for the past 10 years, and it's really just a heck of a lot. Once it starts becoming a job, you know what it is, what happens, you lose interest. So this is getting me on my toes, and it's just really having a great time with it, and some great people, and I enjoy it thoroughly.
So while you're on, though, why don't you give up the name, and you can even throw the phone number if you want, or the website.
Well, it's like I said, this is private charter.
Oh, so you're I got you. So let me ask you this then. We've been talking about going fishing now for a year.
Yes. We're getting close. The is what I'm concerned with.
I know. Me too.
I tell you, it has been brutal. This year has been totally brutal. And there's that happened. We can sit down and discuss that too, but a lot of accidents, a lot of things happen that shouldn't be happening out there. That was just really, I mean, we went to a tournament that was supposed to be, good winds and so forth. And anyway, comes out a big old 75-mile-an-hour semi-hurricane blew through. So anyway, that things like that happen. It just
I don't want to be on that boat. No, sir. No, sir.
So we kind of stayed played tournament. But anyway, it's how about you guys? What have y'all been up to?
Oh, nothing. Just chilling.
I call BS on that one.
Yeah, no, we've been busy. Well, Ralph just did a 4-hour show for the tryout, so he's still recovering. And I was doing the tryout, and we're signing players and just getting things together, getting playbooks finished up, and all the things that we're trying to get done now. It's all the busy work. I tell Don and James all the time is, we bust our butt from September to March, and then in March we can enjoy it and just do our craft instead of doing all the busy stuff. So
never a dull
moment. We're anybody who thinks that football is not a 365 job, they don't sleep next to me, because poor Susan, she just the phone's ringing, and now with this Australia stuff and all hours of the night we're getting calls, and you got to take them. I mean, how important is it to you, right? So, but Mark, I know Ralph had some questions for you. Didn't you have some questions, Ralph? Okay, he didn't. He just gave me the puppy look. I did then. Okay, so I know you had known Don and Pam.
Oh, right.
Oh,
and that's how you kind of fell into the Gunslingers, right? And then you became a fan on your own. Absolutely. And I know you and your wife are big fans, because I've had you come, when you come out, you stay at the ranch and we get to see each other. And I saw you that one time before games, and I'll always, happen to see you. And you're coming all the way from Houston, right?
Oh yeah. It's not that far. Once you get on there, it's a 2.5, 3 hour drive, depends on, and it's comfortable drive straight down 10. The only thing that gets you is that long wait coming into or out of Houston.
Yeah, or San Antonio lately has been crazy too.
Yeah.
But okay, so what, as a fan, if you can tell other people who maybe haven't bought in yet to the idea of becoming a Gunslinger fan, why don't you give us just like a couple reasons why you, aside from your relationships, what about the game itself?
It's just not the relationship. And here's what wins it for me as a fan. Everybody there is true heart. The players, the coaches. I mean, everybody's there because they want to be there. You don't have to be, and there's always something going on, but it's all in a positive manner. And today, the society that we live in, with so much negativity out there, it's a place you can go to and just get revibrated. it's just it's exciting, it's electrifying, and there's always something new. There's always something you'll like. You go and you to this game here, and they have a certain thing that's exciting, and there's something there for everyone.
Yeah,
Something
there really is. And I think your wife would agree, right? The women love it as much as the men, if not more, right? Because it's action packed.
Well, my wife likes going up there and buying the little stuff for the grandchildren. The marketing stuff. She'll buy them T-shirt. She'll buy all the hoodies. Told her about the hoodies. Oh, guess what they're getting for Christmas?
Great.
Awesome.
But I mean, the whole organization. I mean, my God, how hard they work. And if you could really look behind the scenes and see what all needs to be done, and nobody complains. They look tired as heck. I see, you don't look too chipper right now. You guys have been working your hind end off.
Yeah.
And as a fan, I appreciate that. The true heart that's involved with the whole organization.
Well, we appreciate you. And Ralph said earlier about the show and the success it had and the team, the success it's having now moving forward. We couldn't do it without you. We feel that way about every fan, and especially our ones that were with us in the beginning, and that's you. So we're real grateful for everything that you've done with your support. And even if it's just watching the show and saying hi and knowing that you're on, or, coming to the games the way you guys do, we appreciate you.
Well, we appreciate you back wholeheartedly.
Well, good. Thank you. Well, we appreciate it.
Oh,
Rob, did you have anything for Mark?
No, I remembered that I was going to ask about his fan experience and what he liked it. Pretty much you covered all the ground, Coach.
Okay. So, Mark, I got one last one for you. I always like to ask a fan of the game, what's been since you got involved with us, what would you say your best memory has been? If you had to pick one.
At ground zero, there with the players and feeling the power. I mean, these guys, you're right, they're professional. And when they hit that wall and you think that wall is going to tumble down, they hit it with so much power. It's amazing. Those players are there for a reason, and they play true heart.
Yeah, they're fearless. They're fearless athletes.
That is an amazing experience. That and the coaches, I mean, that to me is what makes the game for me is the players.
Well, we appreciate you. Well, Mark, thank you so much, buddy. I'm glad you came on. I'm glad we had a chance to visit and everyone got to meet you. They've seen your comments for the last year.
Oh God, I'm mouthy. I'm sorry.
No, that's awesome. No, we want it. We encourage all the fans to come on and participate, and we're glad you do. And we'll be looking for you real soon. I'll see you in a couple months.
All right, maybe sooner than that, but hey, keep up the great work, Coach.
I'd love it. Thank you, Mark.
That's Mark Yamaguchi out of Houston. Now we've got another character lurking.
Hang on 1 second. I just want to talk about Mark for a second. Mark may be one of the nicest humans on earth. I mean, he really might be. Him and his beautiful wife and the way they are. And there's been times when I've run into Mark after it hasn't been so fun. We'll just say after a game. And, he's one of the first guys to put his arm around you and say, we'll get him next week, Coach. And, he's a true fan. He's not a fair weather fan. He's a great guy.
And that's a good thing to say about a captain. That it's not just fair weather or foul. He's not going to give up the ship at the first.
So, Ralph, real quick, I'm going to give you a story about Big C's. So there's a very famous race, sailboat race. It's called the Mackinac Race.
Okay.
And it goes from Port Huron, Michigan, to Mackinac Island. And it is in some really, really rough water, right, to get there. And so there was a team, a guy I knew said, hey, would you be willing to come on and be part of my sail team? And I said, oh, yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd love it. I was younger. I didn't know any better. And I'd been on big boats and fishing boats my whole life. So I thought, no. So he calls me up one day and it's blowing sideways and it's raining out. And he goes, come on, it's perfect to practice. And I thought, what? Yeah. So they actually tethered me to the boat because it was my first time. And I would have fell out of the boat like 9 times just in a practice run. And we came back to shore. I'm green. I'm dying. I'm sweating from yanking sails and doing this and doing that. And he goes, oh, that was awesome. Did you have a good time? I said, hell no. I'm never doing that again. No way. I mean, listen, when I lived on a golf course, if it wasn't sunny and 75, I wasn't golfing. People would say, well, why not? I go, because I live on a golf course. I can go anytime. I'm going to go when it's nice out. It's the same thing with this, right? It's the same. When Mark said 70-mile-an-hour gusts, I had a flashback. Sorry. It was just, yeah, bad stuff.
The whole time you're humming Gordon Lightfoot because that was on Lake Superior.
Yeah, and all I wanted to do was go home. You know how they say if you really enjoy something, it's not working, and it's this. As soon as I put my foot on the deck of that boat, I said, I want to go home. I hated from the minute it started to the minute it ended. You know, when you're on a fishing boat and you get rough water, you're still trying to catch something and do something. When you're on a boat, just see how fast you can go with the wind. That's I didn't see the payday. So anyway, I thought I'd share that dumb story.
Well, mad respect for those that do, because it is not an easy thing to do, and it certainly is all about teamwork. It's about teamwork under adversity.
Oh yeah, and I've watched those races against Australia when Australia finally beat the U.S. and in the Cup and all that, and yeah, it's amazing the skillfulness of them. It's just for me, no likey, not at all, no.
All right, let's bring on then our second guest, also from the Houston area, and also a guy from the first show, and in fact, I believe one of our first confirmed season ticket holders. That would be Texas Pete. How you doing tonight, sir?
Howdy. How you doing?
There he is. How are you, Pete?
Good.
Well, awesome. No, we were talking about with Mark earlier. That first of all, thank you for everything. And you want to tell him what you sent me, or do you?
Sure. So we went to Vegas for the championship. We ran into Coach and his wife Susan at the restaurant before the press conference, and he was sitting on the other side of the restaurant. We were sitting on the other side, and we met each other coming in, and we couldn't have lunch together, but we kept trying to buy each other lunch. So the waiter comes over to me and it's like, hey, we want to pick up their ticket. And then where is it? No, wait, I'm picking up their ticket. And we sent this poor fellow back and forth 2 or 3 times. Coach finally won, and I thank you very much for that.
No.
And so to say thanks, we got some nice wine for you.
He sent over this case, and it had, believe it or not, Trump's Winery, Trump Reserve, a red, the white, and the champagne, and it's beautiful. And I apprehensively left them in the office because I have them on my shelf with my rings and stuff. I put them right up there with the rings, and I'm trying to figure out. Okay, I'm saving that champagne for the championship game. Put that over there, and then we'll figure the rest out when Pete comes into town. We'll probably crack those other 2 bottles open. But yeah, no, it was just really, really kind and thoughtful. Thank you so much, you and your wife. Really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
So we were talking to Mark, and we were asking Mark, you didn't know Don and Pam, did you?
No, did not.
Right. So you were just a football guy, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Now, were you were kind of, if I got the story right, you were following Frisco.
We were following Frisco first, exactly. So
Right.
we started off with a big Roughnecks fans, the XFL.
Yeah.
And the first year of the XFL, there was the partnership between the 2 leagues. And I was like, IFL, what's this? This is something else. And so I went to YouTube and watched a couple games, and it's like, wow, this doesn't suck. This is really good football. And so Frisco was the only Texas team, so of course we were going to follow. And then for the West Coast, we followed San Diego only because I was stationed out there for a few years and seemed to make sense. So drove up to Frisco a few times for the games, and just nothing like a live game. Absolutely nothing like a live game. They're just incredible. And by all means, the crowd, the crowd was fantastic, And so anyways, the following year, y'all came over from the other league, and being San Antonio closer, and we have family there, and so we're like, yeah, we're going to support San Antonio.
And then, so you obviously liked it because you stuck around.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, we absolutely love it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing, because you're right. When you had the USFL, the XFL, all those, because when I was down here with the Gunslingers, we were playing the Houston Gamblers, and back in the day in the 80s, and it's always been kind of that Houston, San Antonio, Dallas triangle, of football teams. Who am I going to support, and which one is going to be my team, and that kind of thing. So, no, we're glad we stuck with you. You stuck with us, rather. So, no, that's good. So, we asked Mark the same question, and I'm just curious, Pete. What do you like the most about it as a fan?
As a fan, going to the games and the crowd, sports is the great equalizer, and it's when you're in the stands. If you want to bring a community together, you go to a sporting game, because it doesn't matter who you are, if you're left or right, if you're Protestant, you're Catholic, it doesn't matter. It wouldn't matter what color you are, whatever. Everybody's best friends in the stands. And you see people up there cheering for players, booing at players, yelling at the coaches on the field, which is a fun thing about the IFL, because and those guys out there are real athletes, and they love to play. And when we're sitting next to my wife and I, we love, going, and you're sitting next to someone's family who's out on the field, and they're like, yeah, that's my nephew, or that's my dad, and they're building these memories, and you can see that, and it's just the whole community atmosphere is just fantastic, and the fantastic gameplay, because it's nothing like it when they slammer the walls and people get you.
It's funny because you can't go get popcorn and a soda because you missed 2 touchdowns. Right. Bam, bam, bam. It's always going. I think that's what the kids and a lot of the novice fans find so attractive about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's always something happening. You don't have to entertain your guests; they're being entertained, right?
Exactly. And even up to the very end, it's like, because so much could happen in 30 seconds. So we're watching a game, and a team will be a couple touchdowns behind us, 30 seconds left. You don't want to turn away, because game could turn around in that amount of times.
We were down back in the day. I was coaching in Tampa, and we were down, I want to say 17 points with like 38 seconds, and we won.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And it's just, things got to happen. Back then, we kick off the net, recover, this onside kick, recover, score, but it was just anything can happen in that last minute. Where in the NFL, you get the 2-minute warning, we have that 1-minute warning, and that kind of puts everyone on the edge of their seat, especially in close games, because it's clock management, and then it's also your athletes having to perform, do exceptional things in 60 seconds. It's crazy. So it's a lot of fun. So I know this isn't necessarily a concern of yours, but with a lot of other people that we're trying to get to become fans, how would you say the value rates?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's we get season tickets because that way we could go when we could go when we want to go to which games we want to go to. And it's a fantastic value. I mean, that's our season tickets as well as the drive probably cost less than going to a Texans game,
Oh yeah.
And so the value is absolutely phenomenal, and especially for a family. It's all of our kids are all grown up and gone, but if you have a family, it's like you could actually afford to bring your family to a game, and
Right.
You're going to have a really good time, and build some memories and see some funny stuff.
I mean, it's crazy what's happening in the NFL, and especially if you're doing well. We had the Lions back in the day. You could get a ticket with bring a 6-pack and a 20, and you could get a ticket. And now there's $700 a piece just to get in for a game, and that's not a great seat, And I just don't know how you do that. Like our family is, 6 kids and us, and that's 8. You go bankrupt. You go to football.
Yeah, real fast.
Not counting grandkids and everybody else. So, yeah, the value is definitely there, and that way. Ralph, did you have anything for Pete?
No, I just wanted to make sure everyone noticed the flags in the background and the jersey Pete was wearing. He came costumed for the show, and I'm sure Jordan, who chimed in earlier, appreciates your support and your sponsorship. And
It's send Jordan a lot of money. So
well, you get ready to send some more because he's got some new stuff too.
Oh, you've got the mug. Yeah, go ahead and put the tumbler on the camera.
Right.
Yeah, that tumbler's.
You'll have to put it right in front of your face because the angle chops down a lot.
Yeah, you can find it on the website. That is a lot of fun. But I'll tell you though, the first time we bought season tickets and I filled out the form on the website, James called me personally and asked, we talked for a good 45 minutes, about stuff. And it was really personable, really nice, that someone takes the time to do that. And
well, good. Yeah. And well, because you're important to us. I mean,
Absolutely.
Every single person that comes to a game or supports us, even from, we've got fans, you'll see them from New York, Michigan, Arizona, all over the place. And we just really appreciate y'all, and anything we can do that's within our powers, we want to do, So, well, that's awesome.
Make coffee cups.
Texas Pete has been pretty insistent on coffee cups. Pretty much
going for a coffee cup
since the beginning. I remember that from the very first time you chimed in saying, "Yeah, merchandise, make coffee cups."
Well, I'll tell you what, we got the new hoodies. I don't want to speak for Jordan. We're going to have Jordan on here in the next week or so because Christmas is coming, but I know we got the hoodies, we got a bunch of other stuff. We got the tees, of course, the hats, all that. But we got the tumblers. And then we also have the buckle tumblers, right?
Shot glasses, yeah.
Shot glasses and all that. But coffee mugs, that's what we need. Yeah, I love it.
And I want to do a quick shout out to Weston because that guy's worth his weight in gold. He's made our experiences there just fantastic. And he's always gone out of his way for us. Every time we go to a game, he's there greeting us and, doing anything he can. And you got a good team over there.
We do. We're blessed for sure.
Jordan says, I got you, Pete. And Mark from the green room, our previous fan, is indicating, I believe, polos. Or no, fishing polos or fishing shirts.
Fishing shirts.
Yeah, that's it. We got a thumbs up from him. That's the other thing, Jordan, that is desired.
Those fishing shirts that I have. I know I have them. Don has them. James and Jordan. They're great. I mean, they're unbelievable, especially Texas summer. You can wear that thing and it's still, you can breathe in it, and it's a great shirt. And there's a ton of stuff we want to do. It just, again, the more fans that support it, the more we can do. That's the plan. So we'll keep trying. You guys keep asking us, and we'll keep trying to give you what you need. So, but buddy, thanks again. Please thank your wife again for me. Really, really appreciate you guys, and I look forward to seeing you here soon.
Yes, absolutely. See you soon.
Okay, thank
Cheers,
you. Thanks, Pete.
That's Texas Pete, one of our original fans from early in Branded's career and one of the first season ticket holders we had. And that will do it for the second quarter in a fan show like no other. You are watching Branded, brought to you by South Texas Spine and Surgical Hospital.
We all need hot water. Some of us need more than others. So it's a good thing that State has a wide range of tough commercial-grade water heaters for your home. From standard models to high-efficiency and tankless models, we've got you covered. No matter where you live, what you do, or who started it. To install a State water heater in your home,
Call John Wayne today or visit us at johnwayne.com.
Hey San Antonio, are you tired of the same old chain pizza that tastes like cardboard? I thought we were done eating paper in school. Maybe not. It's up to you. At Matanga's, we bring you flavors that are authentically Texan. We're talking about fresh dough that we made in store every single day. We're talking about cheese that's shredded in store for that authentic cheese flavor. We're talking about brisket because this is Texas, y'all. We're talking about our Texas roll. Can't get those anywhere else. We're talking about Texas ranch because when you put jalapenos and ranch together and you dip it in with pizza, just drink it. Lastly, we got a pothole pizza because we had to name a pizza after our roads. You know what I'm talking about. Can't wait to see you soon. Find a Matanga's near you.
Welcome to South Texas Spine and Surgical Hospital, an outpatient center. Step into our operating rooms, where highly skilled surgeons work hand in hand with specialized technicians. Our dedicated team has extensive experience and expertise in spine and surgical procedures. Our commitment to patient safety is unwavering. We understand that your well-being is at the heart of everything we do. South Texas Spine and Surgical Hospital, an outpatient center where expertise, longevity, and state-of-the-art technology come together for your health.
And welcome back to Branded. And the third quarter without a countdown. Coach was taken off guard there as we bring to the stage the sort of the silent partner of the coaching staff. And we had Brandon Negron comment earlier, and thank you, Coach, for saying so. An elite coaching staff. Part of that is, well, there he is.
There we go. What's up, guys? How you doing?
Over on that side, Phil Manas. Welcome to the show again.
How you doing,
Thank
Phil?
you. Appreciate you having me.
So, for anybody who doesn't know, Phil has been, I guess, part of my staff's, going back to Oakland, right?
Yeah, in terms of coaching, but Fury when I was
You're a ball boy.
13 or so. Yeah, so
he was
started with scrubbing the balls and cleaning up after the guys after a game or practice to running copies for the coaches. You know, he made sure we put in our work to be in that room. So yeah, it was fun. It was cool to be a part of that.
Real hard, no pay when you're doing that stuff. That was
a lot of volunteering. Yeah.
So then when I took the college job, I think was it the first year that were you scouting or were you coaching? I can't remember. You were scouting, right? And then the second year you came on as a wide receiver coach, wide receiver, pass game coordinator.
Yeah.
We ended up winning the national championship. And then he got his first cool ring. And then I went to Green Bay and then was going to Jersey, ended up in New York, and then brought Phil with me in New York on staff in 21, 22, 21. He worked with Dave Mogensen, who's now the head coach of Iowa. Dave was my assistant GM, and he him and Dave worked together, and we won a ring then in 21. Came back in 22. Phil took it over as the assistant GM, and then we won again. And then we made the move, obviously, down here to San Antonio, and Phil followed along and got him on staff. Now, he works remotely from Michigan because what he does is the scouting, which is film work, phone calls, all that, which you can do from pretty much anywhere. Go see a game, do whatever. And it helps us. If you split the U.S., like I get a lot of guys calling me from Texas, got a lot of guys calling me from Oklahoma, Arizona, California, but Phil can take care of, he takes care of everywhere, but primarily his, Michigan, Ohio, Illinois, the Northeast, that side of it, we get a lot of help that way. Did I sum that up right, Phil?
Yeah, I'm a glorified middleman is really the title. So I can't wait to start getting these phone calls from Australia. Thank you. Yeah, no.
I think that's
really
kind of the
just-
Western side of things. You're more of the Eastern side of
It
the
don't
business.
matter. I'm gonna pass them
It
off.
depends on which way you're going around the globe, I suppose. But yeah, no, really just reaching out to players and doing our background on guys and making sure they pass the test that I know that he's looking for. I do a lot of vetting in terms of film, and maybe it's character stuff that's going to prevent a guy from playing for him, and I know that going into it. So they've passed a series of tests if they make it onto him.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing,
worked out
Ralph,
pretty
is
well.
if you can't trust your son, right? I mean, but the thing about it is, which is nice, is that if he says, "Hey, I got this guy, you got to look. I'm gonna send you his film. Here's his contact information. I talked to him a couple times. I like him. Tell me what you think." And then I may talk to the guy and go, "What are you talking about? I don't like this guy at all. What did you see in him that I didn't see? And then other times I'm going, yeah, perfect, great, thank you, awesome,
I like to think that's most of the time, but
yeah, it is. It is most of the time. I would say it's probably 90% of the time. It's fantastic, And then there's always, little nuanced things that come up, like they won't tell him something that they'll tell me when I'm on the phone with them, or they'll tell me something and don't tell him something on the phone. And so, but for the most part, it's so nice to have that extra set of hands and eyes. And I told you, Ralph, since he was, I call him Baby Belichick, because he would always have, I'd say, "Hey, do you got this?" He goes, "Yeah, I got the film from practice of the New England Patriots in '87. Here, I'll send it to you." And I'm like, "What? Where do you get this stuff?" But he has this database, and he's been doing it long enough now where all the players in these leagues know to call him. So if they're looking for an opportunity, they call him before they call me most of the time.
So Phil, how are you storing all this? Server? You have servers, all cloud? I mean,
it's organized chaos, just a little bit everywhere, but I know where it's at, type thing, But yeah, I'm very meticulous with organizing all that. So that way we can pull it at any time he asks me, whether it's 6 a.m. or 2 years from now.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing about it, is that I can work on the now, and we'll get in the season. I'll say, I'll call him up and I'll say, so and so went down. I need and he'll go, "Okay, here's 3. I'm sending you 3 now." We'll have them on our board and in our database. So it's about that cumulative information that we get, and then what you do with it, right? A lot of coaches will get stuff, and understandably, they don't have a guy like Phil, and they'll get stuff and they just don't have time to go through it. And what I can do is, if I'm in the middle of a season or in the middle of a prep week, I can say, "Hey, I'm sending you all this stuff. Look at it. Tell me what you think. Write me a report. Let me know." And then he'll come back and he'll call me up and say, "No, dog, or he'll call me up and say, yeah, you like him. So then I'll carve out time to do my due diligence. And then we get more guys like that, I think, than anything, is where they'll reach out to him. And then we end up landing them, and that's the funny thing about it, is that we have that ability. And it goes for all the coaches. They know they can call Phil up, right? Whether it be Coach Fuller, Coach Johnson, whoever. If you need to tap into a database, he's your guy, so it works out really good for us.
So it sounds like, Phil, you're the reason why we say we have an abundance of riches, because we know we know players before we know we need the players, and you're able to bring to your dad, okay, we need X. We're not really sure. Such and such happened. We're never going to go a week without the right talent in the right position every single time.
Absolutely. I mean, that, and just having the mentality of next man up, and just being ready to reload if we need to. So as players transition to other teams, other leagues, you got to be ready to kind of fill that role with somebody and fill it quick. Like he's always saying, is that the season's won in September. It's not won in March. Big thing is loading up that roster with the best talent to bring home a championship.
Yeah, it really does pay off. So here, we'll have some fun. You ready to have some fun? I'm going to show you how to blow up Phil's phone. I will blow up Phil's phone in his email right now. I need 2 offensive linemen and 2 defensive linemen, and then I'm pretty much set.
There we go.
So anyone out there who's interested, call Phil. Email him.
Yep.
Send him your film.
If you're in Australia, keep in mind the time zone.
Hey, I'll tell you what, that was the weirdest thing in the world. The other day, I was up like at, I don't know, it was 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was getting coffee downstairs, heading up to the office, and my phone's just blowing up. And nicest agent guy in the world, and who I'm dealing with, who's helping me with some of these kids, is he's on the phone. I go, what time is it there? I don't know. It was like, I don't know what it was. It was probably like 8 o'clock at night. It was just like, hey, I go, hey, can you call me tomorrow? And I go, okay. So then I'm waiting for his call all day, and then about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'll get a call from the same day, right? So it's like I talked to him at 6 in the morning, my time, and then I talked to him at 4 the next day, same day, my time. So you don't think that's crazy trying to keep a calendar? Yeah, forget about it. Yeah.
And the international dateline tomorrow, like you said, Phil, tomorrow is today over there.
Right.
You fly east, it's the same day.
I talked to the same guy twice in less than 12 hours. Well, no, it's less than 14 hours. And it was a different day.
Yep.
So it's just nuts. Yeah. So anyway, we get them from anywhere. It's talent is talent. I learned that in the CFL, especially. We used to do a lot of stuff when I was in Toronto with the Pacific Rim teams and culture. Just great athletes. It's funny. We were talking about drop kicking guys, guys that can drop kick. So this one guy sends me film, and he's a running back. He plays fullback in rugby, but he's also a kicker. So I said to him, I go, by any chance, can you drop kick? And he started laughing. He goes, yeah. And I said, well, how about can you drop kick 30 yards? And he started laughing. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, I can drop kick 50 yards. And I go, come on. He sent me a whole reel. This kid's drop kicking from 45, 50 yards, 35 yards, 30 yards. And I'm sitting there thinking, I hate drop kicking, but I may hate it. But
it's 4 points in the IFL as a field goal.
Yeah.
Well, and he can make up the backside with a deuce, and yeah.
You think about it, he could kick a PAT, get 2, right? We score about 7 touchdowns a game.
Right.
Right. That's 14 points. Right. Then if you just let him kick 1 or 2 field goals, that could be potentially another 8 points. And then if he gets a deuce in there, that's another 2. So you're talking about 12 and 14, you're 26 points by your kicker.
And the league hasn't seen, even though the drop kick field goal is in there, I don't believe anyone has made a drop kick field goal. I think it was attempted once.
Yeah, I don't know. I tell Phil this all the time. Ask the players what they can do. The more they can do, the more valuable they are when you have a 25-man roster and a 21-man active game roster. Right? So you got 21 men. If you can run and kick, you're valuable. If you can play wide receiver, but also can play DB in a pinch, you're valuable. If you can play inside linebacker and you can play defensive end, you're valuable, right? Now, you still want the best wide receiver and you still want the best this, but I'm talking about the guys that are trying to make the team that aren't on maybe that starting 8 on one side of the ball that really would be like the 10th, 11th, 12th guy. That's the way you make a football team now. That's the way you make that 25-man roster. Is the more you can do, and it's imperative. Phil's going to come down for camp. He comes down usually the first week of camp. This year, I'm still trying to put this damn scrimmage together. This preseason game. I'm going to give this guy another week, and then I'm just going to say enough already. But hopefully we get it together, and then he can come down and evaluate talent and help with that. And we did last year, got in the room after preseason or during camp practices and gave us valuations on guys. And, Phil, you can say this probably better than anybody, but after 1 or 2 practices if the guy's worth keeping, right?
Oh, yeah, you can tell pretty quick. I mean, you and I agreed 1 practice in that Harper was going to be our running back. And you're like, whoa. And I'm like, he's good. Yeah. So you can tell quick as players separate themselves from the pack.
Yeah, there's certain guys that'll come in and just you go. Yeah. Well, I mean, DJ Myers, Quan Murray, Austin Upshaw, Collie, right? You look at those guys and you say, why would you sign any more wide receivers? Well, the reason I gave earlier was things happen. Plus, you don't want to go into camp with not having a lot of wide receivers. Hell, we're bringing in 3 quarterbacks. Who are they going to throw to? The same 4 guys? They'll be dead after the first week, right? So we have to make sure that we don't kill our starting 8 to find our other 8 or 10 that we need on the team, right? So numbers are important right now. But again, offense and defensive linemen, agents, if you're listening, Phil Maness, give him a call tomorrow.
Hit me up.
Hit him up. For sure. You can do what Ralph did. Gave out my personal email on the first show. I still have 10,000 emails in my box that I haven't got to yet.
Yeah, most of them people trying to sell you aluminum siding.
Or ED medicine.
Car warranty.
ED medicine. Car warranties, gutters. Yeah. But thank you, though, for filling up my box like that. And then I can't just say delete all because then I'll go through one and it'll be from an agent or it'll be from a player,
I'll never live it down. I'll just never live it down.
That's
all there is to it.
No. We're still friends.
Is that what this is? Okay.
Yeah, we got to fake it. Phil, okay. So we kind of got an idea what you do. Why don't you give a shout out to the girls? By the way, I'm seeing my grandgirls tomorrow. I'm excited. Haven't seen them since I got back, and looking forward to getting my hugging in. So go ahead. I'll let you do it tonight instead of me doing it to them tonight.
Oh, you want me to say it to him? All right. Miss Talia. Liliana. Mila. Go to bed. Daddy loves you.
And that's why he's out of the will. Yes.
That's why.
Thanks for coming out, Phil. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys.
I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Sounds good.
Love
Take
you
care.
too.
Love
Okay.
you.
Bye.
All right. Anything else before we part out on the third quarter?
No, I'm just getting over that.
Oh, no, you'd set yourself up for that by asking.
You know what, though?
He's going to do an impression. He's going to
do. You got to be comfortable with what you do, right? And for those that appreciate it, great. For those that don't, who cares? So there you go.
Either you're in there, either you know, or you don't.
Or
And
you don't.
that'll do it for our third quarter. I know we're kind of running a little long, but who cares, because it's a heck of a show. And we have even more for you in the fourth quarter. When we return, you are watching Branded, sponsored by South Texas Spine and Surgical Hospital, a tradition of excellence and a legacy of caring. We'll be back in just a bit.
Quality. Here at John Wayne, it's not just a word, it's our foundation. From the people we employ, to the service that's provided, to the equipment that we design and install, quality matters. For nearly 20 years, providing quality Texas comfort to the San Antonio area communities has been our highest priority. For quality you can count on, call John Wayne today.
John Wayne Service Company is a proud sponsor of the San Antonio Gunslingers.
Hey, what can I say? It comes with the job. 1 minute I'm making a one-hand catch on the sideline. Next minute it's lights out, and I'm on the sideline. And that's why I like Complete Care, because they're fast, just like me. They have ultrasound, CAT scan, X-ray, and even on-site lab. So if you get sidelined, know where to go. Complete Care, official sponsor of the San Antonio Gunslingers.
And welcome back to the fourth quarter here on Branded. Boy, we've got a lot to get through here in the fourth. Were there any comments that you wanted to address? I saw you reading your way through them here before we get started with the things that we have.
Someone asked a question. Krish asked a question. Coach, I noticed you had a D-line, Ralph Green, who was signed and cut like 3 days later. How often does that happen where guys back out? He didn't back out. Ralph's a great kid. Let me get that out there. It just, some things came up that we had to make a decision on as an organization. And all I can say is we wish Ralph well. We'll just say that. He's a good football player. He's yeah, we'll just leave it at that. But no, he didn't back out. We don't usually get anyone backing out once they sign their contract unless they're moving up or changing leagues or doing something like that. But even if a player signs with us and decides he wants to go someplace else, then he goes under suspension for signing another contract and leaving the team. And he can only come back to us under certain conditions. So we don't deal with that very often.
All right.
But I just
Well,
wanted to
let's
answer that.
got a bunch of things to show here. I kind of got to go full screen with.
Go ahead.
And the first thing here is, guess what, folks? 2025 season ticket plan is posted. You can go right to the website and it is all there. So if you are interested, it's like we have new pricing, but notice, folks, it's still $9 a month for the Kickstart seats. It is, as it says on the website, 2025 season ticket plan for 2024 pricing.
Yeah, and you'll be able to talk to Jonathan Bain regarding that. I think starting either this week or starting Monday.
And then speaking of coming up here soon on Monday, actually just as the start of the new year, 18-19, the 6-shooter auditions, they had both of their pre-camps, pre-auditions, and now it's time for the big show, 18th and 19th of January, Drury Plaza, $35 sign-up fee. Go to the website and get yourself signed up there.
That'd be great. We have the best cheer team going. I'll tell you what, those ladies work very, very hard at their craft, and they're sure great. And a lot of times when I show up to these engagements, they'll usually come too, and it's great because they're so supportive of the football team. It's just we really, really appreciate them. I hope they know that. I know I do, for sure.
And it is getting colder, and we are getting closer to Christmas, folks. And finally, we have them. The hoodies are here. Long awaited, long discussed. This is the women's version of the hoodie, and this is the front and the waist version of it. This is a $45 item, and we have the two-tone version of the hoodie. This one is for $60, as you might imagine, with Morgan Stubing, our model of the evening. That is the blue long front hoodie. Available.
Those are unisex anyway, right?
Yes, this one is in fact a unisex. That is correct, Coach.
Right. Yeah. So I'll tell you, I got one of those when we were down there, and they're great. I would just order a size up.
And right now there is no price difference between the sizes. So until somebody figures out more material costs more, get your order in now and follow Coach's advice. Go a size up, because
they're not tight or anything. It's just, maybe that's just me. I like them loose anyway. So, but they're wonderful. Jordan did a great job on them again. And you guys asked for them, you better buy them. I'll tell you what, come on, Branded Nation, get your hoodies. Okay.
The other reason, Coach, I bet wanted to go a size up, because in Michigan, you have to wear layers. And if you have a little more room under there, you can definitely wear another layer or two.
Buddy, it was less than 20 degrees out there today, and I had to go fetch the garbage cans, and I went out there in shorts and a t-shirt. So I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, well, that's definitely a Midwestern thing to say that. Yeah, they'll go out in a short and a t-shirt in sub-zero weather.
Yeah. Well, I mean, someone asked me the other day, would you rather have it be in 25 or would you rather it be in 106?
Ooh. And Jordan with a preview saying 6-shooter hoodies are coming soon. Now that's a nice gift. I don't know if it'll be out before Christmas, but that'll be cool. On an entirely local note, Missions Highlighter says, go Holy Cross Knights. They are playing for a TAPS championship here in the greater San Antonio area, and that game will be available to at least listen to. I believe it's going to be streaming video on Texas Sports Productions. That's just a side note for those that are here local, because I know Branded is in fact nationwide. And Jordan's also telling us, Mark Yamaguchi saying Burr. Jordan Stubing saying, as well as a long sleeve Christmas sweater design jersey. Yeah, that's another coach inspired, coach directed.
No, I want one. I want one.
I want one. You want one of the prototypes then.
Yeah. No, I love those. I've been barking for ugly Christmas sweater jersey. I thought those would be fun. Yeah. No, those are great. You know, everyone's got so many great ideas, right? And then everyone, Jordan, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do, you know, the problem is that like, you can't do one-offs, right? I mean, we got to do stuff that everyone's going to like and hopefully support and buying. So the way you can start all this right now is order your hoodies, because then you can't ask for anything else after this, because if you don't buy your hoodie, then we're going to say, well, you asked for hoodies and you didn't buy the hoodies. Why should we listen to you on this thing? Right? So buy your hoodies. They're
besides,
great.
It's a good looking hoodie. I mean, check that out. It is really a good looking hoodie.
Oh yeah. No, it's fantastic. You can't beat it.
Yeah, Jordan saying y'all got to buy them. Yes, there's no point in making them if they don't.
Yeah,
and we're hoping and waiting that someday it'll be obvious from the hundreds of people that watch the show that you're dying and crying for branded merchandise with the branded logo. But heck, yeah, we'll get there eventually. We'll get there eventually.
Hey, why would we? Why would we have our own merchandise? We're only the #1 coaches show in the country. You know, why would we? Come on, we don't need it. We're fine. Yeah. We can keep whining, Ralph. They're not going to listen. That's okay.
All right. Anything else before we head up to the wrap-up session and call this one another win for the Gunslingers?
No, there was just one thing I wanted to say real quick. I brought up Jonathan Bain earlier, just so people know. Jonathan Bain has been brought on to the coaching staff as our quarterback coach. So he'll work with Coach Fuller and Coach Johnson on the front line, but he'll be a big part of that. He's excited, and I want you all to wish him well. Say a little prayer for him. He does good and enjoys it. He came off of a horrific injury and is recovered, and only by the grace of God and your prayers, and all of you indoor football fans know this. It's a good thing. So I just wanted to say that before we cut out for the day.
And if anyone's looking for a story to option for a movie, Coach has a book that he could certainly write, and Jonathan Bain's professional and football career could also be a movie about overcoming adversity after adversity after adversity.
Yeah, and I don't want to share too much, but because that's his own business. But I'll tell you what, you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't know. Like
it's a movie. It's a movie.
You literally wouldn't believe it. And we'll just say that. And only by the grace of God.
Yep.
Was that possible?
All right. So we'll be back with our wrap up in just a moment. You are watching Branded, sponsored by South Texas Spine and Surgical Hospital. Be right back.
It's the high school football season, the most exciting time of the year.
That's right, Greg. And John Wayne Service Company is in on the action with Texas Sports Productions.
Watch and listen to the hundreds of games this season on the all-new TSP app, and vote for the John Wayne Player of the Game during the games and the John Wayne Player of the Week beginning on Sundays during the season.
Go to johnwayne.com to vote and be automatically entered to win a $10,000 home makeover.
Get in the game today with TSP
and John Wayne Service Company.
Hey, San Antonio, are you tired of the same old chain pizza that tastes like cardboard? I thought we were done eating paper in school. Maybe not. It's up to you. At Matanga's, we bring you flavors that are authentically Texan. We're talking about fresh dough that we made in store every single day. We're talking about cheese that's shredded in store for that authentic cheese flavor. We're talking about brisket because this is Texas, y'all. We're talking about our Texas roll. Can't get those anywhere else. We're talking about Texas ranch because when you put jalapenos and ranch together and you dip it in with pizza, just drink it. Lastly, we got a pothole pizza because we had to name a pizza after our roads. You know what I'm talking about. Can't wait to see you soon. Find a Matanga's near you.
All right, team, huddle up. Just like in surgery, we need precision and teamwork. Trust me, just like on the field, if we stick to the playbook, we'll achieve excellence.
Coach, are you sure about this?
We've trained for this. We're experts. The San Antonio Gunslingers in South Texas Spine and Surgical Hospital and Outpatient Center, where precision meets performance.
And that's going to do it for our show tonight of December 4th, 2024. Make sure you've liked and subscribed before you go. Now, I know Phil kind of already did the goodbye, but I have to follow the script, Coach.
I have a question before we do this.
Yeah.
I just pulled up on our Facebook page, and our show's not on there tonight.
It's showing as streaming there. Huh.
Well, I didn't see a little deal that you can connect on there. And I was just wondering if anyone had any problems getting to see us tonight or where they're watching us from.
Well, we've had a lot of comments coming in from Facebook. So
yeah, interesting. Okay. All right. Well, we'll end it with this. Miss Susan's in the other room. Eli, first of all, Eli, happy 5th birthday, buddy. That was yesterday, and he turned a big 5 and let us all know he was a big 5. So we love him and want to wish him a happy birthday. And then Liliana and Mila, go to bed. I'll see you tomorrow. Love you. Night.
This has been Branded for December 4th, 2024, brought to you by South Texas Spine and Surgical Hospital. And as always, folks, keep your guns up. Good night, everybody.